Good afternoon, everyone. I am the first reporter for today's lesson. So now I will discuss about Kant's deontological ethics, the duty framework. Kant's deontological ethics. Kant ethics is now referred to as deontological. So, ang Kant ethics, gi-referred na siya karon as deontological. So the term deontological has its root from the Greek word deon, which means duty. So when we say duty, is tungkulin. And next, hence deontological ethics focuses on duty, obligation, and rights instead of consequences or end. So, ang deontological ethics, nag-focus siya sa duty, obligation, and rights. Wala siya nag-focus sa consequences or end. And next, an act that proceeds from the will which wills it because it can be the will of all is a right action. So, meaning, an act that proceeds from the will which wills it because it can be the will of all is a right action. So, it's a quote from the German philosopher Immanuel Kant, and it's a key concept in his moral philosophy. So, meaning, this means that the action is not just what one person desires, but it is also something that could be desired by anyone else in a similar situation. So, meaning, dapat ang action dili lang desire sa usa ka tawo. So, dapat desire sa tanang tawo nga matawag siya right action. Next, the following clarifies Kant's duty-based approach. The duty-based approach, sometimes called deontological ethics. So, ang duty-based approach, ginatawag po ni siya deontological ethics. Argued that doing what is right is not about the consequences of our actions. So, ang gifocus dire ang paghimo og right, and wala siya nag-focus sa consequences sa actions, something over which we ultimately have no control, but about having the proper intention and performing the action. The ethical action is one taken from duty. That is, it is done precisely because it is our obligation to perform the action. And next, ethical obligations are the same for all rational creatures. They are universal, and knowledge of what these obligations entail is arrived at by discovering rules of behavior that are not contradicted by reason. And next, Kant's famous formula for discovering out ethical duty is known as the categorical imperative. So, mao na ang famous formula sa discovering ni Kant. The duty framework, correspondingly the duty-based approach, can be applied as a framework for ethical decision-making. So, in the duty framework, we focus on the duties and obligations that we have in a given situation and consider what ethical obligation we have and things we should never do. Ethical conduct is defined by doing one's duty and doing the right thing, and the goal is performing the correct action. So, ang ethical conduct, nag-define ni siya by doing one's duties and doing the right thing, and goal is performing the correct action. So, sa ethical conduct, ang goal dire is performing the correct action. And next, this framework has the advantage of creating a system of rules that has consistent expectations of all people. If an ethical is ethically correct or a duty is required, it would apply to every person in a given situation. Next is Kant's theory of right. According to Kant, the universal principle of right is that an action is right. If Kant coexists with everyone's freedom in accordance with a universal law, or if on its maxim the freedom of choice of each can coexist with everyone's freedom in accordance with a universal law.
So, this is the continuation of report ni Duranda Luna. So, legally and morally right. It affirms that in Kant, what is legal must be at the same time moral. An action is legally right if it is at the same time in accordance with universal law, that is, in accordance with the categorical imperative. So, another example sa legally and morally right is kanang mustop ta at a red traffic light. So, legally is nag-required po siya nga motuman ta sa mga traffic signals para sa safety sa tanan sa kalsada. So, ang morally is pag-stop nato sa red lights is nagpakita pod siya og respeto nato sa mga rules ug sa mga kaayuhan sa mga ubang drivers. So, ug sa atoang kaugalingon, kumbaga, ang legally right is nakabase siya sa batas or law ug ang morally right is like kanang pagrespeto nato og pagbuhat og mga maayong buhat for the sake of others. So, for instance, what is legal is limited to compliance with law, be it laws of a state or country, but being moral may not be just following the law but doing more than what the law requires, like responding to the need of another. So, and the next is goodwill. So, Kant says, nothing can possibly be conceived in the world or even of it which can be called good without qualification except a goodwill. So, Kant's criteria of frameworks of what is right or wrong is goodwill. An act is said to be right or wrong depending on whether it is done with or without goodwill. So, example aning goodwill is kanang teacher nga motabang sa iyang estudyante nga naglisod. So, mo-provide siya og emotional support sa katong mga estudyante niya nga nagkinahanglan og support or emotionally or mag-organize si teacher or mo donate to support charitable cause within the school community demonstrates goodwill. So, kumbaga, goodwill is ato ang kabubuton nga motabang para sa kaayuhan sa uban. Ang categorical imperative to serve the well as a principle, Kant has two versions of the categorical imperative. So, the first version states, I never to act other than so that I could will that my maxim should become a universal law. And the next is, the second version is as follows: always treat humanity whether in your own person or that another, never simply as a means but always at the same time as an end. So, treating the another merely as a means to an end means equating him to a mere instrument, a tool, an object which is cast aside after use. or can be sold or exchanged, we no longer needed or has value only for as long as it is useful, such as mix once a user. So out implies can. This means the if and only if we can or are free to act in certain ways can we be commanded to do so. This is one more moral principle ascribed to Kant derived from two passages in his work. One is stated as follows: for it the moral if the moral law commands that we ought to be better human being now, it inescapably follows that we must be capable of being better human beings. So, and the situation, the one in the passages in his works is one is stated as follows: for if the moral law commands that we ought to be better human being now, it inescapably follows that we must be capable of being better human beings. So example ana is na ay nakasala sa atua, which is naka-cause to siya sa atua og pain, and also we suffer. According to the moral law, we are encouraged nga pasayloon na lang tung nakasala sa ato at tapos dili na magdumot or maghunahuna og revenge by embodying the virtue of forgiveness. So, na-demonstrate nato ang atong capacity nga mo transcend og negative emotional o by showing empathy towards other tapos ming akta accordance with moral principles. So like gipili nato kung unsa ang maayo pinaagi sa pagpasaylo nato mahimo pod ta nga maayo nga mga human beings. So another one states as follows is the action to which the ought to do something, then I can do it. So it means like kung unsa lay makaya natong buhaton, maura ato ang buhaton. Like for example, nakakita ka og tigulang nga naglisod og dala sa mga groceries kay bugat. So as ikaw nga nakakita imo siyang tabangan since you have the capability to help nga kaya ra man nimo nga kung kaya ra nimo nga buhaton. If dili nimo kaya, so kay for example, you are not physically fit and unable to carry heavy objects, then you can call somebody to help naman. So sa kana nga sitwasyon is nakatabang gihapon ka. So and the next is the situations ethics. Author Joseph Pletcher used this maxim several times to illustrate his situationism. In false statement, the saying would be, if I ought to do something, then I can do it. So mauna ang gisulti ni author ni Joseph Pletcher. So that's all for today's. So God bless.